Hi guys! So my family and I have been on the GAPS diet for 2.5 months now. We did the 6 weeks intro diet and now we're into the full diet. And I just wanted to do a couple things today. First, I want to just give you an overview of how the diet's gone for us. Second, I want to just share some of the awesome changes that we've seen in all of our family. And third, I want to talk about just moving forward, the thoughts that I have, how we can actually do this and move forward. For the overview for this diet, the first 6 weeks of the GAPS intro has been super intense. It was so intense. We did not leave the kitchen. We did not leave the house. We didn't really do anything except drink bone broth and eat soup. And I'm so glad that that intro only lasted 6 weeks because I really don't know if I could have lasted any longer. Once we finished that 6 weeks of the intro, we started the GAPS full diet. And that's a lot less restrictive, but it's still pretty restrictive. We were just so excited that we finished the GAPS intro and didn't cheat very much that we kind of just went off a cliff and binged a bunch on the GAPS full diet when we started. So there were some pizza nights, there was some ice cream stops for me. There was at least 2 times Aaron and I were standing in the pantry shoving Oreos in our mouth while our kids were distracted. And that's not what we're going for. So we really need to find some ways how to be sustainable without eating Oreos. I'm sure there's lots of other things that are delicious. We just need to make it work out. Also on this diet, it's pretty low carb. It's not a low carb diet, but it just cuts out so many of the grains that people normally eat. And it cuts out like the potatoes and the sweet potatoes. So by default, we were low carb and we've been seeing awesome results with that too. Financially, this diet is difficult. It is so expensive. We have been spending over double of our grocery budget on GAPS foods, and I haven't even been buying grass-fed meats because it's so hard to come by here and it's so expensive. And I really don't want to order my meat from the internet. I just want to go to the local meat market and get it. So we need to find a way to just get our grocery budget back down where it's supposed to be for this to be sustainable for us. Some of the changes we've seen on the GAPS diet are weight changes. So I've lost 7 pounds and I'm pretty happy about it. I feel like I'm back where I'm supposed to be. Also, Aaron's lost weight too. He didn't really have that much weight to lose, but it's kind of like our bodies just kind of reset where they're supposed to be. It feels pretty good. The kids though, the kids have gotten so big, so big. Isabel has always been tiny. She has gained so much weight. I asked her this morning how she liked having a big belly. She's like, yeah, I like it. It was so cute. She has the biggest belly. Ava has really filled out too. She's always had this really petite, thin frame, and it's still the same frame, but she's just filled out. It's really cool to watch their bodies just adjust to what they're supposed to be. Okay, and so Ben, I know this isn't all the GAPS diet, but in January, he was at like the 52nd percentile for his weight, and he jumped to 69th. He is big, but he's supposed to be a big boy. Like, that's his build. Before, his weight would fluctuate a lot before, and I would like go to pick him up, be like, oh, Ben, like, you gotta take a poop. He was just so backed up. But now, like, when you pick him up, you can tell that his weight is more evenly distributed. And that's another thing. So pooping. Ben has always been once a 7 to 10 day pooper, which that's not a good situation if you've ever dealt with that. Now he's pooping every day, every other day. They're easy. There's no tears. I think that alone has just been wonderful on this diet. Our kids are also a lot more verbal after going through this GAPS diet. They're just all speaking a lot better. So Ben was the only one with the speech delay, but even in Isabel and Ava, I can just tell that they just have more words, and like Isabel's sentences are more complex. Not just verbally, but emotionally too, especially with Ava and Isabel. I can tell it's almost like they grew up a year over these past 2 months. They're taking more responsibility, they're caring about each other more, and it's really neat to watch them kind of grow up like that. So I don't know what happened, how the GAPS diet did it, but I feel like verbally and emotionally my kids have skyrocketed with this. The kids are also a lot calmer. most of the time. And I can tell when we've kind of had too much sugar because I can just tell what sugar does to them now so clearly. But they're able to sit still and like sit and look at books. And before it was a big chore to get them to sit still and calm down. So for me personally, what I've loved most about this diet is just I've had more energy and I feel like my head is clearer, especially around like that 4, 5, 6 o'clock mark where I'm just done usually. I'm still able to I still have a little bit to give. The other thing that's awesome about this is most of the time, I don't have a ton of food cravings. And it used to be like, I know this sounds terrible, but honestly, like food was ruling my life. If I wanted a piece of chocolate, I had to get a piece of chocolate. If I needed a piece of sourdough, I had to get a piece of sourdough. But now it seems like I have more discipline and more willpower with that. And just, it doesn't seem like the cravings come up as often. Okay, so some thoughts about the future for the Corbin eating plan. So we have been on this GAPS diet for 2.5 months. We made the decision we're gonna stick with it, but we're really gonna loosen the reins. It's been really difficult for us. We haven't really been able to leave the house a ton, and I'm just needing to loosen the reins a little bit so that we can start having a life, start doing a little bit more homeschooling than what we've been doing. And like, just for example, mayonnaise, like I'm giving up on mayonnaise. We're not making homemade mayonnaise anymore because it is a pain and it is time consuming and it goes bad if you don't eat it. So I just bought mayonnaise from the store and I just looked at the labels and I just found one with avocado oil, and that's just what we're gonna do because we're not making homemade mayonnaise anymore. Same with salsa. Like I just bought salsa. Some other things, like I was talking about those binges, we're gonna build in some binge nights for us. For example, either Friday or Saturday nights, we're gonna have pizza nights. Like one night a week, we're gonna do pizza. I don't know if we're gonna order in or cook frozen pizzas, or Aaron could make sourdough pizza, but we just kind of need that break and we need something to look forward to. And I need, when I'm telling the kids no every day, no, you can't have that, no, you can't have that, no, you can't have that, I wanna be able to tell them a yes. So I wanna say, no, you can't have that today, but remember on Friday night, we're having pizza night. You know, I need something like that. Also at Costco, I got a huge box of frozen cookies. And there's just some nights where we're gonna throw cookies in the oven and everybody gets one. You know, we don't get 4 or 5 or 6 like we would before, but we can have one. Something else I'm needing to change is I think I need more carbs at night. So I don't know if this is a craving thing, or I don't know if this is just my body telling me that I really do need this. Aaron and I are working on having a baby, and I just feel like I need some more carbs in my life. So every night I'm gonna have a piece of sourdough. I don't know if the kids are gonna be invited to that party or not. Everybody had a piece of sourdough the other night, and Ava and Isabel were fine, but the next day Ben was just emotional and crabby and a pain to deal with. So I don't think he's invited to the sourdough party, but I will be. So moving forward, I've been doing really well at meal prep. There's been 3 times where I've just meal prepped a ton of meals. Just the other day, I made 12 soups in freezer bags. And I don't mean like cook the soup and then put it in the freezer bag. I mean like I just chopped the veggies, chopped everything up that would go in the pot later, put it in a bag, sealed it up, wrote on it what needed to be added, and then put that in the freezer. Most nights for dinners, we have soup. So I know I can just dump that bag in a pot, dump bone broth on top, and dinner is done in 30 minutes. And I spent 7 minutes on it, you know, so super simple. A couple days ago, Aaron made me some juicing bags. We weren't juicing as many days as I wanted to. I wanted to be juicing like 5, 6 days out of the week, and I was just getting to it like 2, 3, 4 times. So he put all of the veggies washed and cut up how I need them cut up in bags. So every morning I can just grab a bag out of the freezer and run it through the juicer. Then all I have to do is wash the juicer and be done. So that is really helping with making sure that we actually juice in the morning, because that's important on the GAPS diet. So moving forward, we're also going to stay low carb. I know for GAPS, like dried fruits allowed. I know like regular fruits allowed, and we're just not doing much of it because I can tell when my kids have raisins or have a banana, they just want more sugar. And it's the same with TV with them. You know, they watch one TV program, they want to watch 20 more. So we're really trying to dial that back. One thing we've been implementing that we're going to keep doing is kind of the intermittent fasting. So we're not It's not technically, and I'm not telling the kids about this, but I just try to serve dinner a lot earlier. We eat dinner at 5, which I know is a ridiculous time, but then that gives them all night until the next morning, until we juice in the morning around 7:30, that they're fasting and they just don't know about it. So I just read some benefits on that, and we're gonna give it a try and see how it goes. A couple things I really need to do better at moving forward on this diet. One is detox baths. We were doing awesome at detox baths for the first 6 weeks, and we've really fallen off the wagon. My kids are very stinky. Another thing is cod liver oil, fermented cod liver oil, which, by the way, it only took 2 to 3 times of taking that, and now my kids, like, no big deal. They take it. Isabel and Ava love it. Ben still says he doesn't like it, but we'll take it. I can take it with hardly even, like, taking a drink of water afterwards. It's not bad. And I thought they would never. The first time I had it, I almost threw up. It was disgusting. But after having it a couple times, it really got normal. So that's our recap of being on the GAPS diet for 2.5 months. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see what happens next month or the month after.